we didn't want house with these issues.
Hey, the number of times I've gone under contract and then fallen out of contract for whatever reason is more than I can count. So I've been there, right there with you.
Yeah, you've been many times.
And at the end of the day, you know, it's better to release a deal than to go forward with the bad one. So, sometimes it's just the right thing to do. Well, hey, I see the rest of the team got on. David, Scott, good to see you guys. So yeah, today we're just going to do an AMA where y'all can ask me, Preston, Leslie, really anything. And I know, David, I think you and I were talking on the other channel about possible either discrepancies between AirDNA and Strike, or just some questions about it. And so do you want to start there since Preston's on? Because
Sure.
Preston, how much longer are you able to hang on with us?
Yeah, I got a few minutes, so we can chat through that first.
So maybe let's start there and just have a conversation around that topic, and then we can go into anything else you want to go over.
Okay. And Preston's already answered some things via email. That's been really helpful, but
Okay.
I think this will help you guys tremendously. As I've been going through, let me share this. I'm used to Teams. This is it's saying it's awaiting an approval to share screen.
Is that Leslie or Matt? Can y'all?
Let me see here. Allow screen sharing. There you go.
Okay, there we go. Let's see, entire screen and this one. Okay, so you can see this now, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is just one example. I was showing Preston there was like $100,000 per year discrepancy. Here's another one where I'm looking at some comp data on a house that I'm looking at here. And this is what Strike is showing, 253.
Yeah.
And this is what AirDNA is showing, 196. Now it's not 100,000, but it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense to me about the cleaning. That's one side of it. And maybe shouldn't put cleaning in the revenue, because I'm sure most people aren't thinking of it that way in terms of the revenue that they're maybe I'm wrong, but that's just
quick question for you, David. Do you own in the Poconos?
I'm looking to, and I'm probably taking a trip up there in the next few days.
Nice.
Okay, and then how familiar are you with the Poconos?
As much as I can get over the past 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. And then another question for you, because I know AirDNA has just been like the long-standing kind of source of truth for like the past 10 years, right? And so it's kind of been the best we've had as investors until Strike came along.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what we're dealing with is we're comparing Strike versus AirDNA, but then the question is AirDNA even accurate?
Yeah.
So it's like
that's the big deal, is who's right.
Not sure. And so it kind of comes down to both Strike and AirDNA are projections. So number one. Number two, there can be outliers in both Strike and AirDNA. But the third and the final kind of conclusion that I've come to is when you look at the comp set and you look at the comp dashboard, which we'll look at here in a minute, when you look at one particular property in like a vacuum, it could be spot on or it could be off. Now, where truth comes in is like the law of averages and like the law of, I don't even know if that's a law, but just when you have multiple comps coming together to create a story. And so I guess my recommendation for you would be, I think it'd be wise for us to look back at the comps dashboard, see how many comps are in that. And then you could see a trend of certain amount of ranges of revenue. And that'll be probably a better source of truth versus just like one-off particular property.
And that's true for sure. But the one thing that I want to add, go ahead, David.
No, as I was digging, I was doing exactly what you said, Matt. totally agree.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to check comps in both places. So I'm okay, let's check, what is this comp in Strike? What is this comp in AirDNA? What is this comp in Strike? What is this comp in AirDNA? And I'm seeing a pretty drastic, about 50K difference
between almost every
depending
property.
on not all. Some are like dead nuts on within a few thousand, and I don't know why, but Preston was pointing out about this.
I'd like to, because I'll have to hop here in a second. So if I can go real quick, I want to talk through how we implement that revenue estimate, because I think it's going to help add a little bit of clarity and help give insights into what's happening behind the scenes. And of the day, we want to be, not a black box. We want you to have full insights into where those numbers come from. Obviously, we don't have direct connections with those listings or with those owners to actually pull their revenue data. So the way that we actually have that revenue data is we have every single day, we take a snapshot of their listing essentially, and mainly looking at the calendar and the numbers there. So we get a sense for, on every day, we have 3 statuses. One, which is, it is open and available to be booked, in which case we see what it is showing as on the calendar for the ADR for that night, with the cleaning fee wrapped into that. The second is if it's blocked. So if it's completely blocked off from the calendar, which could be usually one of 3 things. That's either the owner blocked it for their own personal use, they blocked it for maintenance, or it was booked by an off-platform booking. So it's not on VRBO, TripAdvisor, Airbnb, Booking.com. It's not on any of those 4. It'd be an off-platform like a Hospitable or something like that. And then the last one is that we can see that it was booked. It was actually booked on one of those 4 platforms. So we know what the price was, and we know that, okay, now it's no longer there. So we're assuming that it was booked at that ADR. What that doesn't account for, and I know some of this is a recap for you, David, but I appreciate you. I'm saying this more for the group. What that doesn't account for is discounting. And by discounting, there's 2 different ways discounting gets applied. One is if you're using a tool like PriceLabs or something like that, where it's going to be pushing to Airbnb or VRBO, TripAdvisor. It has its formula and it's pushing your pricing strategy and updating the actual number. We do see those, and the reason why we see those is because PriceLabs is pushing that every time it syncs your data, every time it syncs your pricing, and so that actually changes the actual price for that night. And so no matter what reservation dates we put in, we see that on the calendar. We see the actual ADR that it's projected out for that night. What we don't see, the discounting that does not get applied by the current way that we're doing it, and I'll talk about our plans to improve this. The current way we're doing it does not account for things like last minute bookings or length of stay discounts. So last minute discounting and length of stay discounting. And the reason why is those are applied on a per reservation basis, and it's dependent on the dates that you select on the calendar in terms of what discounting gets applied there. And so the way that we're currently scraping does not have a great way of accounting for that. And that can sometimes be a fairly large swing. I know personally in my own properties, we apply those pretty heavily, which can lead to a 30 to 40% swing in the price on the reservation, depending on when it was booked and the length of the stay and stuff like that. And so the fact that it doesn't account for that can lead to a fairly big discrepancy. Usually, if you're seeing a big swing like that, to me, that's a very clear indication of, I know that this user, this comp, this listing, this owner is using those discounting pretty heavily. And when it's spot on, it's pretty, it's a pretty good indication of they're mostly just using their PriceLabs. They're using PriceLabs to apply their last minute discounts as opposed to using Airbnb or VRBO on platform discounting tools. So that's one of the biggest discrepancies between the two, or one of the potential sources of discrepancies between the two. We have a plan in place that I've started working on even today. I was working on some of this, of the ability to go off and identify what the discounting strategy is for each listing in America. And by doing that, we'll be able to apply that to the real revenue that we're showing. So that real revenue you see in the comps dashboard, that is, and real's a bad word. I probably should change the word there. It's the observed revenue is probably what I'll change that language to. So the observed revenue is from looking at the calendar and then looking at when nights got reserved and assuming that ADR from that. So assumed, observed, some sort of, that's essentially what it is right now. What I want to, once we have and I won't bore you with the details on how we're going to get this, but essentially for every listing, we'll be able to identify, and then general, most of their reservations that come through are getting a 30% discounting applied to them or a 20% discounting applied to them, and we'll actually be able to show that based on like, hey, last minute versus a week out versus a month out, which is going to be really interesting insights, for you just in general as you're analyzing your comps and understanding what the market, pricing strategy is. So there's side benefits of it aside from just being able to, improve and the accuracy on our revenue. But once we have those, we will apply that to what we are currently showing for the revenue. We'll probably give you the ability to see both, just because again, our whole purpose is to be as transparent as possible. We want to give you and empower you with the tools and the data and the information, as opposed to black boxing it and just putting it behind a wall and just saying, hey, just trust us. And so that's a little bit of about the discounting and kind of the game plan for how we're going to be implementing that in the future. The other thing that we've touched on is the cleaning fee. Cleaning fee is baked into that ADR. So when we're looking at the price per night, we're seeing that, and we're also able to see what the cleaning fee is for that listing, and then that gets spread out over the course of a reservation when a reservation comes in. So that's how that cleaning fee gets applied to that real revenue number. Totally get you. I don't count necessarily revenue as when I'm doing my analytics. I don't count cleaning fee. Like I don't think of that natively, but the more I've used this, more I was like, actually, that makes more sense to include cleaning fee in the revenue, because it's money coming in the door. It's revenue. It's the revenue coming in the door, and then I've got a cleaning cost in my OpEx that gets accounted for, and so that helps. That if you're going to have one, you either don't
as
have
long as you're
have both. Exactly.
Yeah,
as long as you have it accounted for. Yeah.
So David, can I ask you, are you willing to share the address of the property that you're looking at, or can we look at?
This was just a comp. I'm looking at 4 or 5 properties up there. Actually, I have one other question. There's, but I can share absolutely.
Because I just, again, I think we could probably, at the end of the day, you want to buy a property in the next couple weeks or however long, and so there's going to be some time to really flesh a lot of these super deep details out, but you're still going to want to make reasonably confident decisions. And so I kind of just want to put myself in your shoes and just tell you what I would think if I were you, based on the data I've seen, because I've bought a bunch of properties using our data. And so I can kind of give you my feedback of what I'm seeing and generally what you could expect, so that you could still make progress as we're trying to figure out, because we don't know how AirDNA makes their sausage, right? So we kind of know how they do it, but we're still trying to negotiate and figure out what they're doing versus, we know what we're doing, but I don't think we'll ever know 100% how AirDNA does it, because they may do their own recipes, right? We do our own stuff too. So we may fully never know why there's a discrepancy, and there's probably always going to be some sort of gap potentially in that. So in the meantime, I'd love to tell you what I think, and that way you could still at least make some progress towards, what you're trying to go for.
Yeah. Well, I have multiple, I don't want to take all the time, but
maybe just give one example and we can look at it together, either on the comps dashboard or even here. And then I'll give you my feedback of generally where I would expect things to be based on the listing itself.
And then David, did you have any other? You mentioned you had one other question there before we dive into.
It's a really quick one, I think.
Yeah.
And that is one of the properties I'm looking at is it just went on the market about a day and a half ago. How long does it typically take to start showing up in Strike?
Usually takes about a month to start to see the actual property itself. Sometimes 2, depending on when the scraping gets triggered relative.
No, well, I think you're saying a for sale property, not
for sale property.
Yeah, for sale.
Oh, that should be within a day. Yeah, that should show up.
There's usually a 24-hour lag, because it'll hit the market, and then it takes a little time for the data to actually come through.
Yeah, we populate it, we estimate the revenue, we do have that economics on it, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Which I don't know if you want to share that or not, but you could tell us separately offline, or if you don't tell us.
I'm not. Yeah, it's not in Stripe. I can show you. It's not in. But there's there's basically 4 or 5 properties that I'm looking to go see. One of them is no longer on Zillow because it went off market, but I'm still talking to them and saying, "Yeah, if you make us the right offer, we're interested."
Yeah.
The comp to that is that property that I was showing. It's the closest thing you can get. It's actually owned by the same lady, and she's kind of done the same thing in a different location.
Let's do this. Is it generally like, let's find a comparable property that's for sale. And then we could kind of look at it together. Is it in this region here?
Oh, let me. Well, all my comps on the property I'm talking about, that one was one I was showing.
The reason I'm asking is because I kind of want to pull in the comps around it without really revealing the property, still give you insights of like kind of what I'm thinking revenue wise possibility for it.
Yeah, if you just pick anywhere in like 4 to 5 bedrooms in
around this area,
Poconos and say 10 miles, it'll be. I mean, that's up in Pocono Pines, so like over to the east a little bit,
like over here,
and yeah, even more. So like there's a Penn Estates is kind of right. You're kind of hovering over it now.
Okay.
So
yeah,
basically,
So I'm just going to use this as like a potential address.
Sure.
Get a little bit closer.
And this is what I've been doing, getting kind of close and then doing it and then being able to see all the comps and then checking, okay, is there, because the revenue projection is the murkiest part for me. I can project all the costs fairly accurately. I'm grasping for, hey, how many
bedrooms is the property that you're looking at?
It's 4. There's also a 5.
One thing I wanted to comment real quick, and then I got to hop, is when you're inputting your address here, David, you don't actually even have to put in an actual address. You could just say like downtown Poconos or like a lake that nearby, like something like that. It doesn't have to be an actual address, and it definitely doesn't have to be an actual address that's an MLS property. It can take in any address, and it's just going to use that as its center point of the of the radius to search for them. So
yeah. Okay. So David, here's what I was thinking is like, okay, Preston, see you, man. So let's evaluate a 4-bedroom versus a 5, and that way you can kind of get a general idea and sense for like what you could expect. Without seeing this property, like, does this property have a pool, or would you want to put a pool in?
It has an indoor pool.
Okay, is it pretty nice condition?
The house is an old farmhouse. It needs some work.
Okay,
but it's a unique kind of property.
Okay, so first of all, I would say try to stay within a 5-mile radius if you can. You can go out to 10 if like you have limited comp, but I would try to stay within a 5-mile radius or even closer, because that's where like your true comps are going to be. Because location does matter.
More so than
Oh, what'd you say? Oh, David, you were cutting out a little bit. What'd you say?
Oh, sorry. The location proximity is more critical than like properties type.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it just depends, but sometimes location does matter. And so if this, again, I'm just kind of taking you through how I would think about it. Usually within a 5-mile radius, that will be a source of truth for you. And then you could kind of squeeze it in or out depending on how many comps. Now, when you have 128 comps in a 5-mile radius that have cleaned up data, what that tells me is, okay, first of all, there's quite a bit of saturation there. Second of all, it tells me I can probably reduce my radius a little bit more to get a little bit even more accurate on it. And so I'm just going to go in. Okay, now I've got 40 comps in this radius. Okay, that makes me feel like, okay, it's a good enough set of comps, but not too many, and it's a little bit closer to where the property is. And then now what you want to do is kind of look at, okay, what are any interesting amenities that are driving revenues? Okay, a pool. You said a pool is something that this property has, right?
Yeah.
Does it have a hot tub as well?
Yeah, after I put one in, yeah.
Okay, so you'd put one in. Okay. So now this is the next thing I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, well, generally speaking, this property, I don't know even what it looks like or how much it's cost, but probably will be like, I'm just gonna say we'll probably make about $100,000
Okay.
as a 4-bedroom, knowing there's possibility to get up here, but I usually like to underwrite, either at the 75th or maybe even like somewhere in between here. Now, if you start underwriting based on this stuff, like that gets a little dangerous. Let me just expand it back out real quick. I mean, you are having some properties that are doing better as you expand a little bit further out. So there are some other interesting things here, but again, I would probably underwrite it based on like 100,000, maybe up to $130,000, knowing there's higher possibility, but this is probably where it's going to be. So now knowing that truth and that like range, right? Let's go look at the comps and kind of get a sense and feel for like what the truth is. So there is a property that's showing 200, but again, there can be outliers. And so I get a little nervous looking at the top comp versus like the bottom because, there can be some like discrepancies, right? So the truth is probably, somewhere in here, right? And so you see multiple properties in this. I would stay away from the effective revenue. I would look more at the real. This is possibility, but this is like more like truth. And so I'm seeing multiple properties, 180, 150, 150, 140, 130, 130. So 120, lots of properties kind of in this like 160,000 range, knowing that, some of these are doing better and then a lot of these are doing worse. So I think it's safe to say underwriting based on this 100 to like 130 mark is reasonable because you have a lot of comps that are like supporting that, knowing some of those comps could be outliers, but some of them are truth, right? And so again, kind of the law of numbers, when you have multiple comps supporting that, you just have more truth and confidence in it. So let me ask, how much is this property selling for?
Well, this one that I'm looking at, it's really a unique kind of place, and it's they're asking 900, but I know that they would let it go for 750. But it's a total. It's on 5 acres, and this would be to do all the Elefante stuff, the pickleball and the everything. It's got a really nice opportunity in the yard, and it's kind of out on its own.
Yeah.
There's also a lakefront type property that's there's a comp that's doing 212,000, but it's 950. This just went on the market 2 days ago. I don't see it on the street yet, but
okay. So then the next thing I would think about is like if you do have those unique things about having extra land to build or water features or some of these other things, like then that would tell me, yes, there's more likelihood to get up in these upper tiers. But the next thing I would be asking is there opportunity to create more value either through amenities or additional bedrooms? So like one thing you could do is just go notch this up to like 4 to 5 bedrooms and see how this affects this premium tier, right? If you were able to like squeeze in some more beds, some bunk beds, convert a garage, whatever. Or turn it into a true 5-bedroom, then boom, this is where, you take like a $50,000 per year jump, or more possibly. So, Michael Elefante, I'll show you like one of his properties in Asheville. Like he is the top comp, and like I've actually asked him about his property, and the revenue is like spot on. So he makes $530,000 per year in revenue with his Asheville property in Fletcher, and he is like the max. So, obviously you don't want to underwrite based on the max, but if you do things that his academy tells you to do, you could maybe hit it, but again, if I'm looking at this 5-bedroom property in the Poconos, there's 100 comps in this radius that are supporting, hey, I could probably make 178, maybe up to like 210. So again, without getting way in the weeds of like the nitty-gritty individual comps, that's kind of how I would look at underwriting generally. And then,
so you wouldn't think, because I'm seeing it when I go and check these individual ones, I could see up to a 50,000 revenue projection difference, but you're saying on the whole it shouldn't be like that, and looking at a group of numbers should be more
yeah, because if you look at one comp standalone, we could be off, AirDNA could be off, we could both be off. Like I don't know, like it could be a conversation leading to like nowhere, because we're not sure unless we have the true comp, which is why I even brought up the idea of crowdsourcing with our community, which we'll probably want to explore that more soon, because that's true comps, is if we can actually crowdsource and create value for everyone. In the meantime, the best way to do it is, again, being able to see lots of comps, and if that property you showed, what would it show, like 250 or something like that? This one maybe?
Yeah. No, it wasn't that one, but I think it's further than 5 miles away from there. But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, I mean, that's a little bit further away, which we could loop it in if we need to. But like, again, I'm seeing 270 might be a possibility. Who knows? Could be an outlier. So I wouldn't really look at that. I would just kind of notice it, right? But I see 250, 240, 240, 230, 230, 215, 210. So multiple properties in this 200, call it 250. And so when you look at that, then you can come back down here and say, okay, well, this does feel reasonable to do it. And maybe I underwrite based on 200,000 just to be a little bit safe. But this does feel like a possibility, knowing there is some upside. And then just getting that general trend for like, I mean, what I'm noticing right now is these properties are decked out, and
it's actually these properties that you're bringing up, they're by the same girl, Bree, BRI.
Oh, really?
Or however, yeah. And
is that John Bianchi person?
In this, see that lady Bree, hosted by Bree? She owns like 4 or 5 of those.
These kind of look like John Bianchi properties.
So she, in that same neighborhood, she's doing the exact same thing. They all have 5 bedrooms. It's very well designed in the outside, and the in the outside too. In the inside, it's got the bright colors and the design and the execution. Mm-hmm. Then the backyard is kind of spiffed up, and yard games and so on. And
yeah,
and she's just she sees a 5-bedroom property in that area, and she's buying it and changing it and executing.
So this is all Bree comps. Well, obviously what she's doing is working, right? And there's multiple in this 220 to 270. So maybe call it 240, 250. It's kind of what you could expect revenue wise. And if that property that's 5-bedroom is selling for what, 900, $1 million, then you're probably I mean, you're probably talking about 20% cash on cash after you put in, probably 200 grand.
Yeah.
So to me, the 5 bedrooms seem like a better opportunity if the price point is similar, just again, because you get bigger head count, all that stuff. So, I'm just seeing way more revenue upside potential. So, anyway, hopefully that was helpful, for you.
Yeah,
But I mean, I
I've
think
been showing
overall,
these.
just realize Poconos, like John Bianchi, is like pumping his clients into there, like left and right with that STR search. So there's a reason they're doing it, because there's a lot of revenue potential and property prices are reasonable. Just know like competition is just going to keep getting stiffer. And so you just have to pad yourself with some like really unique stuff that nobody has. So I would look at all of Bree's properties and be like, okay, well, I probably have to do something similar or better to at least like kind of keep up with the Joneses on revenue, unless you get like some killer deal out there.
Yeah.
So, well, cool, man. Anything else before we go to?
No, I've taken way too much time, but thanks. And I'm sending this stuff to Preston. He's saying it's helpful. So
yeah, anything like that, just keep sending it over to us, and we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Well, anybody else want to dive into some questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
When I know my Airbnb link, what is the fastest way to find this property in the strike?
Oh, find your exact property?
Yes.
What market are you in? And how long ago did you list it live?
Like a year or maybe more.
Do you mind telling me the address?
The background for it, since I'm from Michael's school, so the way how we find deal, we look at the market, we look at the AirDNA, we find the most like performing properties. Let's say I have a list of 3 or 5 of them, and I wanna, by knowing the link on AirDNA or Airbnb, how to find them easily in the strike.
Yeah, can I get maybe your address or your market that you're in so I can take a look at it?
Like for example, I'm using this. His Airbnb property that I use as an example. For example,
Okay.
how to find it at strike.
Oh, like, is it one of your properties or a property that is an example property?
This is an example property.
Okay. Did you put it in the chat? Let me
Mhm.
see. Okay, cool. Let me look at that real quick. Okay, just one second. Is it the design your own mini golf pool, sauna, spa area? Broken Bow?
Yeah, Broken Bow.
Okay, cool. That is a really cool property. Let me pull it over here so we can see if we can see it. Yeah. Can y'all see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually just bought that playset for my property.
You bought what?
I bought this playset for my property right here.
Playset.
Yeah, I like that one. So this is a comp that your coach showed you?
This is what I found. I'm using it as an example.
Yeah. And
For the
then
property that I'm
and then yeah, because I know the process that B&B Academy I had, I guess, was, find the market and then find the best comps in that market, probably through AirDNA at the time.
Yes.
And then study those comps and then go try to replicate or do that within, whatever you're trying to do. So this is what did AirDNA say this one made revenue wise?
150.
Okay, 150?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down here to the map. Okay, you see that?
Mhm.
Okay, so this is generally where this property is located. So Ho Chi Town,
Yeah, this is how I do. I'm just having a hard time like searching.
So all you need to do then is, let's do this. Let's go to Hoch Town. Is that how you spell it? Hoch
Yeah.
Town?
Yeah.
Okay. Oklahoma.
I think there's a T in there.
Did I spell it wrong?
No, you got it. You got it.
Or maybe I'll just let me do this real quick. Broken Bow, Oklahoma. Okay, cool. So now, okay, so Hochatown is like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's just pick this one as like a random property that we found. Pull in this address, Broken Bow. So now we know generally where it is. We're just gonna again get one of those example properties right here. And this one, let me see here. This one is a
Yeah,
4-bedroom.
this is what I do, but it's kind of when you have a big list, it's kind of exhausting
Well, yeah.
to find on the
Yeah.
where
Well,
is it?
I know BNB Investor Academy has their process, right? Strike is disrupting all of this. I know. Because, you know, they had a very good process of how they do things before Strike came into the picture.
Yeah.
Now Strike is coming into the picture in a good way, because it's eventually it'll make everyone's life easier. It's just people aren't used to using it yet. So now let's just go study this real quick as if we're doing this the BNB Investor Academy way. And so let me just show you a cool tip and trick. Again, first of all, within that radius, a 5-mile radius, there's 1,500 comps. So I think you were on our last call. There's just enormous saturation in Broken Bow. So with that in mind, let's do this. We're just going to exclude for all these comps. What are the number one comps you have to have or things? Look at this. So first of all, I probably have to have a pool for the biggest revenue upside. A gym, like I think we saw here, is a big deal. Like I think she had like a sauna, like a whatever, a mat.
In the patio. But here's the pool is like it's above the ground. It's like 20K for this property.
Oh, for this one?
Yeah, I think it's not that expensive. It's above the ground. It's
Yeah,
like patio.
but it still looks super cool. Yeah, I think that's a container pool, and then they build like a deck around it.
Yeah.
Yep. So then, okay, here's a cool trick you can do. First of all, you can just go to the table and go from highest to lowest and just see like, hey, what are the top ones that are just crushing it? And what are some trends on like bedroom count? And so thankfully, there's kind of a mixed bag of like bedroom count. So it seems like even smaller properties could do well. Now, the next thing I want to do is let's show the top, I don't know, 30 comps. Top 30 comps by revenue in this entire area. And let's see where they're at. And so here's some interesting properties around you.
Did you put as a 4-bedroom or it's just in general?
I just wanted to see in general what the top 30 were, and then we could go down to even the 4. But like this is showing 8, 7, 6, 3, 4, 5, 7. So again, I'm seeing kind of a mixed bag of bedroom counts. And so
the performer is 8-bedroom.
Yeah, the top performer is an 8-bedroom, but you know, here's like a 6-bedroom, what that looks like. Here's a 3-bedroom that looks pretty awesome. So this is something that you could do to just, again, filter for the best comps in that area and literally just go in and look at what they have versus like one at a time, you know? So knowing this information, you know, this is a comp you like here, right? That's a pretty cool comp, right?
Yeah, I did lots of analysis like for 2-bedroom, 3, 4, 8. So I decided right now to focus on, for example, 4 beds.
Okay. So,
So
I
I
mean,
narrowed down my research, but I cannot find this property here.
this one right here?
No, I mean in the
Oh, this one right here. Okay, this one is. How long has this been on the market?
A year for sure. I think they launched it a year ago.
Okay, so let's do this then. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look in here and just see if I can see it pop up.
Yeah, they launched a year ago, AirDNA says.
Okay, so I'm gonna reduce this down to like 5 count here. And I'm gonna take off those revenue filters. Okay, so there's a lot of comps here.
I disappeared.
Okay, let me zoom in here. And it's 4 bedrooms?
4.
Okay, so look, I mean, this just shows you your competition right here. This one might be it.
Yeah, for some reason it doesn't show me this one. Like based on AirDNA, this is the top performer in this area.
It
But
is?
yeah,
Okay. Sorry, my son's coming in. Just 1 second. Anybody else want to say it? Hey, Mom? You got it? He came in jamming. Sorry about that. Okay, let me just see if I can see it. So I reduced the radius to like 0.5 here to get really close. And then I'm gonna reduce this down here. So we've got some filters that kind of filter things out. Let's just see if we can find it here. So the title of this is Design Your Own. So you can look in the titles here. All right, I'm gonna just totally take away all these filters and see if we can find it. Design Your Own. Yeah, I mean, for some reason, it's not pulling through. It's 4 bedroom, 7 bed. Yeah, I mean, again, we're dealing with like millions of listings like everywhere. So sometimes they come through, sometimes not. So I guess with that in mind, what is your coach trying to help you accomplish? And then we'll see if we can kind of like back into an end goal on it.
I'm just wanna like analyze and predict 3 situations, like if it's gonna be who are my low income competitors, who are mid-size, and who are top performer.
Okay. And you
And
said this one's showing how much in revenue?
yeah, this according to AirDNA, this is a top performer.
And what does that mean? Like how much in revenue?
150 among others for bedroom.
150?
Yes.
So I mean, look at that. I mean, it's showing basically the 90th percentile, which makes sense, right? So if we take this knowledge and put it into practice, you still are trying to find a profitable deal, right? And you're thinking a 4 bedroom is maybe the way to go with this as like a reference point. Who's your coach, by the way? In
Drew.
Drew. Okay, is he using the strike at all?
I don't know.
We might need to get him on that strike. So let me go back here. Let's do this. Let's just do a little fun.
This is not just one property, so that's why I'm having a hard time to find. Like, I wanna. So I have a table with AirDNA link, with Airbnb and Strike. I wanna like all second opinions in one place. But to find and Strike, I think it will be helpful. Like if you know Airbnb link, put it somewhere in the search and find it. If this option would be available, it would be great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we usually like again when you find a property, you can go to the listing and it'll pull up like this one here. But yeah, it would be cool to like I don't know have something in the search where you can like find that link exactly to like maybe match it up. So maybe in the founding member community, throw that down as like a feature request, and we could look at something like that. But let's just maybe like pause and kind of step back. So at the end of the day, your end goal is to find a property to buy, regardless of how B&B tells y'all like how to do it. That's your end goal, right? So let's just maybe like take a step back, knowing that Strike it's a new kind of disruptive technology that people are not really used to yet. And let's just kind of dive into the Broken Bow area, and let's just do an exercise real quick and just say, hey, we realized based on the comps we were seeing, a pool is a big deal. So let's first of all filter for pools. Okay, cool. A lot of pools properties go away. And then let's just put in here anything that makes, okay, knowing, I mean, do you have a budget range that you're trying to stay under?
So I know some properties like 8 bedrooms, they do 300K for sure. Like good managed properties, they can make this amount.
Yeah, and if again we take away the radius and we go here and we go highest to lowest, yeah, I mean some of these properties are making 300 to 400 grand. Yeah, they're larger.
Yeah, but they're like crazy with crazy stuff like slides inside of the houses. So for 4 bedrooms, I know they're making 150.
So here we go. We filtered out a bunch of stuff to like have a pool in place so that you don't have to spend the money for a pool. Although you could put in like a mod pool or something like that. Let's see here. Here's a 4-bedroom that we could look at here in a minute. Let me see if there's anything else that looks interesting. Do any of these properties that we're seeing right now look interesting to you?
Based on numbers, no.
Well, okay, but remember, these are based on averages. So like we're about to build in a feature that shows like how you can underwrite based on the 50th, 75th, and 90th percentile. Right now, just look at this knowing there's way more possibility to go higher. So like let's just pick, let's see here. This is a 4-bedroom that's kind of interesting right here. Let's pick either this one or this one.
But this, so we filtered properties that right now, like on service, so they are producing.
Here, let's look at this one real fast. So this one is, where's this address at? Let me look at and this is something you could go talk with your coach about too. So we're gonna zoom out. Okay, so it's kind of close to Ho Chi Town, but not exactly there. But look at this. It's got a pool. It's got some land. There's already some good bones to it. That's a 4-bedroom, right?
Yes.
But if you compare this one to this, you can tell like there's some like really elevated design experiences to it. But this one can make how much? Like 150?
150.
Okay. So now if we look at this thing, this just kind of screams opportunity to me, it seems like, because there's already a lot of infrastructure in place. And so let's just do this. 4-bedroom plus bunk room, 5-bath luxury cabin. Look at that. So it could even get up to a 5-bedroom potentially. So look at this. So let's go analyze. Say you negotiate this thing down to like 900, plus you have like that extra bunk room that you could juice it up. Then you get up to that 150 range. Remember that? Maybe even higher, possibly, right? Because if we're 4 bedrooms, let's see what that looks like again. Yeah, so like 150 is kind of that like 80th percentile. But then if you get up to 5 bedrooms, you could get up to like 160 to 200. So let's just underwrite it based on this, knowing you could juice it up a little higher. And then say you put in 50,000 for furnishing, maybe another 50,000 for some other stuff, since it's already in pretty good condition. And you could juice that up higher. I mean, you're seeing a pretty good return on that particular property. So this is one, I'm just going to save it. Would you manage it on your own?
Yes, I'm planning.
Okay, and I'll put in a little extra just buffer just to see what happens. And so, would you do 10% down or 20% down?
20.
20?
I think with this amount, yeah.
Maybe you get down to like 6.75 potentially. So I'm gonna save this thing. Okay, so this is showing moderate return, knowing again, like if you turn that into a 5-bedroom, like you might could get up here potentially. So this is a property that I would actually show your coach. And I'll send you the link in the chat here.
Thank you.
And you can even download this here and show it to him. But I mean, look at that thing. So like, it's pretty close to that comp you showed me. There's already really good infrastructure in place. And then the pool's already there. There's room to do all sorts of like other cool amenities around the property itself. And then all you have to do is like kind of create this elevated design like this person's doing with like a playground, string lights, sauna, lifestyle photos. And you could probably craft a very similar like experience to that. So anyway, does that help answer the question there? I know the process is a little different, but
yeah, thank you for analyzing. But still, like the feature when you can easily, but by knowing where the property on Airbnb, somehow easily to find it and strike it will be helpful.
Yeah, for some reason this one just didn't come up, so I'm not sure why. But maybe. Hey, Leslie, maybe that's something we could.
And I also have situations when I know link on Zillow, but I cannot find it on Strike. How many days the property should be on the site?
Is there an example that you can share with me?
Yeah, I can. Let's say. I just sent a link to the chat.
Okay. This one's kind of cool, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, this one's like right on the water. Interesting bones. I'm looking at pool.
Yeah, the issue with all these houses, unfortunately, when town was incorporated, right now it's more regulations, and these houses have many issues.
Has issues. Really?
sorry?
Okay. The one I just showed you has issues.
No, but we went there, so I know some.
Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah. Okay, can you see this here? So this one.
So this is potentially can be 4 bedrooms.
Oh, I think I see the problem. So this listing, the source, you see that? Is MLS Technology, okay? And then let's do this. I'm going to save that. Oops. And then I'm going to go just look at another listing. Okay, you see that? Source MLS right there.
Yeah.
So if you ever see a property and you're like, hey, why is that not popping up in Strike? Go to the Zillow listing and then go down until you see the source. And if it's not showing up, send us that Zillow listing along with this source right here. And then all we have to do is sign a contract with that MLS and pay the monthly amounts, and then we can pull that MLS into our database. So the property you showed, we actually don't even have in our database because we haven't signed an agreement with them. So brokers have, sorry, this is a little how the sausage is made. As a real estate broker, when I sell a house, I can be a part of these different MLS associations. There's like 500 of these out there. And then I list it on one of them. The biggest MLS in Broken Bow is this MLS OK, this one. And so that's the one that we have. But the one you sent me is this other one. which is kind of like a, kind of like a random offshoot MLS. So we would need to go get this one with our MLS provider.
So
It
even
also,
for
it says
one
that it's also
widget,
listed on the MLS. Okay, right above that.
Oh, it
Also
does say
listed on-
also. Okay. Anyway, that's a good point, Leslie. Because of that, let me do this. I'm going to type it in here. 1 second. So one thing, Olga, there's a matching algorithm going on when you do your address. So like sometimes if you reduce the amount there, it might pop up. So 64 Pine Court. Okay. Hey, Leslie, would you mind making a ticket for this one
Yes.
for our data team to look at?
Yeah, I'm talking to him right now.
Okay. So yeah, if you ever see something like that, Olga, just throw it in to our founding member, and we can check with our data team to see why it's not pulling up.
okay, it's not the first time. I'm just decided to ask maybe.
Yeah. I'm just looking. That one's out in Ho Chi Town. This area right there. I was just gonna see if I could maybe see it. Where's Ho Chi Town at?
It's where you. Yeah, here.
It's kind of in this area. Let me actually just. Another thing you could do is just take off these filters and just reset. Oops. Reset these defaults and see if it pops up. I think it was somewhere in this area. It is what is it? A 3-bedroom. Let me just type in 3-bedroom and see if we can find it real quick. 3-bedroom. Yeah. Okay. So Leslie, yeah, let's just see if we can find that one with our data team. See why that one's not popping up. Yeah. And again, by the way, the reason we're seeing a lot of reds here is because they're all underwritten based on that average revenue. So pretty soon we're going to give you all the ability to underwrite every single property as if it's the 75th percentile or even the 90th. That'll be a game changer to where like instantly, like you can visually see if you were to do it, but you have to make sure that you're willing to spend the amount of capital to get it to that next level. But we'll check on this one for you.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Well, I know we're at time. That flew by today. Sorry for everyone else that I don't know if we really had time to even get to, but any other final quick questions, thoughts that we could address real fast before we jump off?
Hey, Matt, I got one that people might be helped by. It's super simple. When you look at the comps and you're looking over there and you exclude the 90%, sometimes what's moving the needle is it's either a positive or a negative number. Is it more of an absolute value there?
On these right here?
Sometimes they're showing negative numbers that.
Yeah. When you're seeing negative, we probably just need to modify that to where it says NA or not effective, or not applicable, because it doesn't mean you're going to make less money. It just means it doesn't have a positive uplift.
Okay.
On the.
So it does mean it's not a driver.
Yeah, it could mean that just a lot of people have those particular amenities and it just doesn't really move the needle that much.
Sure.
Based on that particular concept. But you won't have, if you have a fireplace, it's not like you're going to have negative revenue.
It's going to go down. Yeah,
it's
for
just,
sure.
Not as much of a positive impact.
Okay. So don't look at it as an absolute value, just the positive numbers and see which ones matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Cool. Any other final questions before we jump off today? Ryan, sorry, man. I know that you got on a little bit late here. Any quick questions from you before we jump on?
No, it wouldn't be quick. I'd have to spend some time with you to review it. So it's about a specific market, but I'll look for other time.
Well, how about this? One of my calls got canceled, so anyone else that needs to jump off, feel free to jump off. But I'll hang on a little bit longer if you want to ask whatever question you have, and we can hang on for maybe another 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Cool.
I've got time. All right, let me share
Good
my
to meet
screen.
you, man.
Say what?
Say good to meet you, man.
Yeah, good to meet you as well. Let's see. Oh no. Oh, I need approval to share my screen. Do you prefer to share or?
Oh, here we go. Let me do it. Allow screen sharing. By the way, did you hear the conversation we had with David on his questions about revenue as well?
No, I had a W-2 call to jump to and then jump back when it was over, so I probably missed that.
Okay. No, you're good. We'll take a lot of those insights into this as well. But yeah, I think you'll have similar questions on maybe discrepancies you're seeing from Strike and AirDNA, right?
Yeah, for sure. And for this particular market, it seems to be consistent across a couple different listings that we would use as like underwriting comps.
Okay.
So like just a quick peek, like this is the house that we're looking at. I've already plugged it into the analysis here. But the trouble I'm having is with the comps specifically. There's a couple like pretty close comps in terms of like what we would be able to do to the home. Okay, so there is this one.
I'm pulling it up to on my end, Crystal Creek. Okay.
So this home and then also this one right here have about a $100,000 delta between AirDNA and then Strike in terms of revenue.
Okay.
And these would be pretty close comps to what we would want to do for underwriting for this particular property. So here's the AirDNA, so 167, and then for this one right here, 144.
Can you click on that 144 on?
Sure.
Yeah, pull that one up real quick. And then let me see the pictures of that real fast. And let me just do you know this market pretty well?
Not intimately. No, we've probably been looking at it for probably the last 3 weeks.
Okay. Now, this is how many bedrooms? 6 bedroom?
6, yeah.
Okay. Now let's go back to the comps dashboard. And let's get out of that one listing. And okay, so you're looking at 5 to 7 bedrooms. Now, can you go down on the bottom right and see what the full revenue range is showing? Okay, love you guys. Okay. So you're seeing an AirDNA, those are kind of making like 160-ish, right?
Yeah, those two specifically. I think this one was 140 for real revenue and then 160 for.
Are you seeing any higher comps in AirDNA if you were to go filter higher to lower? So 160, 170, 218, 230, 433. Keep going a little higher, or is that the highest? So the top comp.
That's the top.
Okay, the top comp's 391, 216, 205. Okay.
Hold on. I mean, to be fair, like I need to do the same thing with bedrooms here.
Okay, perfect. So 215 is kind of the top comp AirDNA showing with a range of like 140 to 216. Now go to the comps dashboard real fast. Okay. So now scroll down to the bottom right. Okay, so this is basically saying, what did I say AirDNA's range was? Like what did I just say a second ago? Yeah, like 140. Scroll down just a little bit more. 120 to up to, if you scroll up to 216. Is that the, yeah, okay. Okay, let's go back to strike real fast. 122 to 216. So yeah, it's showing, oh, you've got a 10-mile radius. Do like a 5-mile radius around this property.
Yeah.
And see how many comps that pulls up. So 24 comps, and now scroll back down again. So yeah, this is showing, the way I would look at it is, and this is what we were telling David earlier, there can be some discrepancies between one-off comps. And honestly, I'm not sure if we'll ever know the truth, because I don't know how AirDNA comes up with their stuff. I have guesses on how they do it,
Right.
but we run our own, special sauce on these comps. They kind of do the same thing in their own way. Now, sometimes comps are like spot on and sometimes they're not, And so what I was telling David earlier, really what you need to look at from an investor lens is the truth comes in numbers, because when you have lots of comps that make up a revenue range, that will guide you towards realistically where it could be at. And so
Yeah.
what I'm seeing is, realistically, this property will probably be between 150 to 240. So
Yeah.
call it 200, and depending on what you do to the property, I would expect probably like, what are you estimating revenue wise on it?
Right. Well, so, and what we also see in this market is that there's, I don't have and again, not to dominate time, but I guess we're in bonus time, so I can take more.
Yeah,
So
you're good.
we're looking for comp to make this deal work, because we've got a capital investor that we need to have more meat on the bone so we can all split.
Mhm.
So these red marks are comps that are above 200,000 in Lexington. So, one thing is that not all of them are clustered. They're pretty well spread out around the Lexington area. And I'm sure they've all got their own reasons, but
Yeah.
to the left, we've got Bourbon Trail type of stuff, kind of between the Georgetown and Lexington areas. That's like where the Kentucky Derby is. There's a big horse park up there.
Yeah.
And then like you've got some more like national park type of stuff going on to the east of Lexington. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of 200, well, at least according to AirDNA, $200,000 plus comps, and that's really where we need to be able to split, at least a 30% cash on cash return is what we're looking at. Now, if
Yeah.
strikes revenue projection for those comps specifically, those are closer to our property that we're looking at. So that would give us a little bit more confidence to take this to our capital investors and be like, yeah, we think it at least could do the mid, and then likely could do a higher, better. But I'm not sure that that's enough data to be confident.
Can you go back to the Strike app?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then let's look at these pictures together real fast. And then would y'all convert that garage there?
Yeah, that would be a game room.
So convert that into, okay, that'd be a huge game room then.
Yeah.
I see the ratio of bedrooms to bath is like only 3 bathrooms. Would you add any more baths?
We'd have to add a bathroom, because this actually has a theater room that could be a bedroom, which we would use up to 7 bedrooms, and then we'd have to add at least 1 bathroom for that situation.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Because I was getting nervous about, usually I think Logan and them teach all this. Like you want to have at least like 50% ratio or more on bedrooms to bath, especially if it's going to be a larger property. And so keep going down just on pictures. Can you use that land, or is it kind of like too angled?
It's got a slope down to a creek, which is kind of cool. The creek, so we would be able to use it in that. Like we've talked about putting like a tree house type of thing in the back for like an amenity, but there's not enough budget to put like a pool. We can definitely do a hot tub or two, but there's not a pool. Which some of these comps have pools, some of them don't, so it doesn't seem like a requirement. It's in your comp dashboard that it does. It could help with revenue, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, so keep going down just to see. So there's like a little porch area too.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's all sorts of fun amenity spaces you could do. Keep going down. Is that a gym or is that a bedroom?
That's just a bedroom with a elliptical in it.
Okay, and then cool views. There's a creek out there. I'm gonna imagine y'all would probably do some updates to the bathrooms and stuff, right?
Yeah, we do a redo to the bathroom. We'd probably take out this kitchenette thing in the upstairs hallway and then put a door, and then use the bathroom to basically create
Oh, there's
2
already
bedrooms.
a theater in there?
Well, that's the theater room that's upstairs, but there's plenty of room downstairs for it, or in the game room for the garage
Okay. So
conversion.
it's
But this
really
is
it's a 6-bedroom plus a theater room, or is that a part of that?
correct. Yeah, so it would be 7 bedrooms if we use this room that the theaters are in for a 7th bedroom.
Oh, dang. See, that's what man, you discover some of these nuggets when you get into the MLS, like, because I mean, I bought a property that said it was only like a 5 or 6 bedroom, and we're turning it into like a 7 or 8 bedroom because there's like all these additional spaces you could
Right.
do.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So keep going down just to see the outdoor area.
Sure.
Okay,
So
cool.
got an upper and lower deck, huge decks.
Yeah.
And then it's got this cool, like, paved, other space with, like, this awning that's over here as well.
Yeah.
So we could put, like, an outdoor kitchen or something like that out there.
Yeah, that's really cool. How important is a pool?
So in the comps that we looked at, I probably, like, half had a pool. So it didn't seem like it was, like, a for those that were 200,000 and above, so it didn't
Yeah.
seem like it was, like, the most important thing, and quite honestly, with the renovation we would need to do with the bathroom and stuff, it wouldn't fit into the budget for this partner.
Okay, so let's do something. Click off of that and go to the revenue tab on this app and go over to the revenue side. I think it's a little further to the left
Okay,
on
sorry.
like the second tab. Yeah. So yeah, we're showing 180 grand based on a 6-bedroom, knowing there's room to like push it higher. So
Yeah,
now if you
well,
go
so
to
when
your
I 7, does that actually change the comps?
no, it doesn't change it yet, but we're hoping to do that with AI soon to where
Okay,
it'll adjust it, but it doesn't change your revenue right now.
gotcha.
It's basically just doing it based on a 6-bedroom. So let's go look at your comps again, in the comps dashboard. And this is showing 5 to 7, 240 on the upper end of the revenue, and then filter from highest to lowest on revenue, real revenue. Okay, and then do exclude common on the right. Okay, so a gym is like a huge factor.
Mm.
A pool, yeah, it doesn't really show. Okay, and then show me some of your top comps again, like the 240, 271.
Let's see.
That's like a super funky one, Moody.
Yeah, for sure. This one does not have a pool, the other one does.
Okay, these just have a lot of like outdoor kind of crazy cool spaces. Kentucky
Yeah,
Bourbon
just
Trail.
a lot of design inside too.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and then a lot of outdoor space.
Yeah.
Okay, and then go back to the comps dashboard, and then let's look at one more comp, that 271 or 240. They've got a cool silo looking thing, but they have
Yeah,
a pool.
yeah,
So that one, you got to be careful because they have a swimming pool, and pools do make typically a huge difference. So does pickleball.
yeah.
Um, okay, so here's what I would do. Go back, and y'all would bring in a capital partner for this.
Yes.
Look at the 161 real fast, or the 180. Okay, sometimes links are broken. Do the 161. Okay, well, that should be enough information for us. Okay, so go back to the app. Okay, so when we're looking at this thing, is that the total square footage of what it would be afterwards, after you convert?
No, I believe that's gonna be
Probably like,
that doesn't include the garage conversion.
so that probably goes up to like 5,500 square feet, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
So I would adjust that to 5,500. And then, are you in the academy, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do this. Who's your coach? click on the second tab. Is Fern using Strike at all?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, well, this would be good to show. Let me plug in my computer. It's about to die. 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't want to be like mid conversation right in the pinnacle. Okay, so all right, so now go to the second tab.
All right, do you mean?
Oh, the second tab next to property. Sorry about that. Where it goes to revenue on the next thing.
You.
And hey, as founding members, if any of this looks confusing, we can make adjustments. So let me know if we need to do some things to that. So again, premium is showing 183, and the comps are saying, if you go back to the comps dashboard, premium potential is up to 240. So I would say 200 is a possibility. So let's go back to the app. And since do you have the game room, you do plan to do some crazy cool capital stuff. Let's go make some manual adjustments, and let's go juice the average daily rate up to like 1,000. Right there. And then click off of that. Okay. And then juice occupancy up to like, I don't know, 60%. Sorry, I think you have to get all the decimals. Oh, you don't have to go out. Like you can just do 60. Okay. So 219. That feels reasonable-ish. We could go down to like 200 if you want to be a little bit more conservative. But thoughts on this based on those revenue ranges that you're seeing?
Yeah. Assuming that, and so, I mean, transparently, it was like we saw those two comps that have really good design, some amenities that we could not match, and if they're projecting lower on AirDNA, then that's a whole new ball game, right?
Yeah.
But
and AirDNA, what is AirDNA showing those again?
Yeah, for
144.
Yeah, 144, then 167.
Okay, so go back to the app. I mean, look, our premium 90th percentile for this property, when you deck it out, is showing 183, right? So there is room to go higher than that based on everything you're wanting to do. But
yeah,
honestly, if I were you, I'd probably just underwrite it based on 183 to be safe. Because I mean, you're gonna have a lot of money on the line, you know.
Yep.
I mean, you could sell it at like 200 or more, but like, I don't know how big of an impact a pool is going to have or not. I don't know this market super well. So let's just go through this thing as if it's premium and let's just see what happens. So, go click on premium again. And then, click on the capital tab. And you're probably gonna have to put in like, yeah, at least that.
Yeah. I pulled these numbers from our sheet. So,
I mean, do you think 240, what is that? Is that enough?
Yeah, maybe not.
I was thinking like 300, but I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, total budget right now is 350, and that's a stretch even for our capital partner. So I mean, in my mind, I've kind of like written off that this probably is not the right property just because of all the reno. We would need probably for that budget, 350 is like the max. We would probably need more of a turnkey.
For down payment plus capital?
Yeah, and that includes down payment is what the total all-in budget is. So I just don't think I'm not comfortable, I think, with these projections for that capital.
Go back to the app real quick.
Yeah.
And so that's 250 in capital. And then if you go to the next tab, would you all do a management fee if you were to do it?
No, we would be splitting profit on this. We wouldn't take a management fee.
Okay, one thing to note, insurance is coming in low for like almost every property because it's pretending that it's just like a residence instead of like a commercial property. I would juice that thing up to like $5,000. Yep. And then go to the financing tab. What type of loan can you do with your investor? Would they be willing? Do you have to do 20%?
It would at least be a 20% down, because even a DSCR loan in this rural area is at least 20% down. So even if we do conventional or DSCR, it's still 20%.
Yeah. So go to view summary, and then save detail report, and then just do type in realistic case somewhere. Okay. So now what's cool about this is like, hey, look, that's not a bad deal. You know, I know it's not a 30%. Maybe it could be, I don't know. But to me, 183,000 in possible revenue seems way more realistic based on everything we just saw. 200 and whatever, and plus like maybe, right?
Right.
And so it's better to be pleasantly surprised than like shocked in a bad way. So to me, look, I mean, it's a 24% cash on cash if everything goes right. It's not a bad deal. And then if you go up and click on that download, have you seen this yet?
I have, yeah.
So yeah, now you've got a full OM that you could send to the investor or your coach, whoever, to like look through all the details. So I don't know, man. I think it's worth. I don't think you should write it off yet. I think it's worth considering.
Okay.
But I would probably just be careful not to like go too much higher than that 183.
Yeah.
I mean, there is possibility for sure, but at the end of the day, you want to be more conservative on your numbers when you're pulling in capital.
Yep. Makes sense.
So
cool. I didn't realize. So when Leslie and I walked through this on my onboarding call, I didn't realize that, you know, once you kind of adjust the numbers, it would actually adjust the rating on it. So that's pretty cool too. This is a cool report for sure.
Yeah, at the very end, it'll adjust your report, and then in the whole ratings, go back to the report on the top left. And then something else you can do, scroll up. You see that little link at the top right, that little clickable thing? You could send that to your coach or your partner, and they can see it even without having a subscription. Well, Leslie, I think we didn't tell our tech guy.
This happened. This happened too.
This happened the other day, and I let them know, but I guess they have not fixed it yet.
Hold it. Let me see. Here, stay on that screen. Let me record that real quick.
Sorry. Open incognito.
Hey, Austin, we're trying to share a link, and it's taking them back to this welcome page. If we can have that as a public shareable thing. Okay, I'm going to send that to Austin right now. So, good to go. So, well, hopefully that helps. The more, and look, the more you start using the app, the more familiar you'll get with it and more confident you are. B&B Investor Academy, they're incredible. And again, they've had their process that they've had forever, and we're kind of like jumping in the middle of that thing, you know. So they're kind of getting used to like the new technology as well. Thankfully, it's going to make everyone's life easier. It's just people have to get used to using it, you know.
Yeah. Well, once I do, it'll be a lot faster than the manual spreadsheets. So that's the good news.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome.
Well, cool, man. Well, let us know if you have any good success stories. And again, we have these calls twice a week, AMA and then a training on Monday. And then Leslie's got office hours on Friday, so you can jump on any of those.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for your time.
All right, thank y'all. See you guys. Bye.